We found ourselves with only one day to explore Boston, and we had a lot of recommendations from YouTube, and even my oldest brother Jim recommended that we go to Quincy Market, order some chowder, and that's all we needed to do because it was delicious. So we didn't do that, but what we did do is take a trolley tour. And on the trolley tour, we got to see all around Boston, which was really cool, and we even took a boat ride out in the harbor. Number one, when you get to the trolley tour we started, it went like 1 through 15 stops, but the trolley office is at stop number 6. So I'll try to clarify that the best I can. And again, we have the Ultimate New England Travel for Southern People map that we'll put up, and I'll show you our tour. We boarded the Beantown trolley right here near Boston Commons. So we're right across from Boston Commons, which is their big park in downtown Boston. Just headed straight up. I'm not going to give you the streets. You can just take the tour if you want, or you can see them. Of course, we stopped in front of the Cheers bar, which was kind of cool. But also over in Boston Commons, there's some statues that are really great. Paul Revere, and there's this statue of these ducks. I had to print this one out, but there's a bronze statue of the ducklings by Nancy Scone. It's a popular attraction in Boston Public Garden. There's also one in Moscow, a replica of it, which was a gift from the First Lady Barbara Bush to raise Gorbachev. So that's really cool. It's Mrs. Mallard hatches 8 ducklings named Jack, Cack, Lack, Mac, Knack, Oack, Pack, and Quack. We went from the Cheers place, and we came by Trinity Church, which was really cool. There's a bus stop in front of Trinity Church. Then we passed through this Prudential Shopping Center, which looks like a lot of people. Obviously, the people up there have money. Boston is a pretty good sized financial market. But we drove all the way out to Fenway Park, and Fenway Park's really cool because, of course, it's an old park. It still has a lot of the character, and it has this row or this street, where you still get the tickets, but they were working on it that day, and we walked all around it. There wasn't a game obviously going on. There's a really cool urban school right across the street. It has some neat sculpture on it, but Fenway Park was cool to see, I have to admit. I wasn't thrilled about going to begin with, but it's pretty cool. And after Fenway Park, we crossed the Charles River over to Harvard and Cambridge. I've heard of Harvard. I've never considered what it looked like, and it's beautiful over there. It's a great campus. And we came back across the river to Beacon Hill. When we turned around, we went to the State House. Of course, there was a protest going on that day. I'm not sure what it was all about, but it was pretty cool. But anyway, this brings us to the beginning of the actual tour, where they count place number 1. And number 1 is down in the harbor, and part of the tour we took, you could get on a boat, and we went out in the harbor. And we were in Boston Harbor. We had some great views of the skyline. We also were able to see Bunker Hill and the USS Constitution across the water, as long as some really cool wharfs and boats, and it's just a really interesting thing. I think Boston by water was probably one of the more interesting visual tours we had taken on our New England trip. I really liked the harbor. Then when we got back from the tour, we followed back over the Charles River, and we went to the USS Constitution, so we were able to go on the boat itself and see Bunker Hill. And then we came back, and we went to the Quincy Market, or Faneuil Hall, which is pretty cool, and it's really close to the site of the Boston Massacre. So we spent about an hour or so there, and I finally ate the chowder my brother was raving about, which was pretty good. After that, of course, like I said, we listened to some street music, we shopped, we did have a pretty good time. It was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed Boston. I think that the thing that strikes me most about Boston is I expected the Boston of John Quincy Adams' day, or John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, and what I saw was this huge city, and occasionally you'd see a little piece of history or building in there. So it's kind of like I don't know. It was different, but it's a pretty city and it's worth visiting. Thanks. We'll see you in Maine.